Namaste everyone. This is a video about esoteric physical therapy, and this is kind of a weird phrase, esoteric physical therapy. Esoteric meaning it's only knowledge held by a small group of people. Physical therapy is kind of self-explanatory, healing the body, putting it back together in a way that's very strong and stable and mobility. And this is one of the main subjects that I teach, is a kind of esoteric physical therapy. I almost call it physiology. And you see this in a lot of my videos, and I mentioned the heart seal, I mentioned sacred Psoas, I mentioned spotlight imagery, and I talk a lot of anatomy jargon, naming muscles, naming joints, and things like this. There is obviously a practice in the world called physical therapy, and they're very highly educated. I've worked with a lot of physical therapists that have come to my events, and the method, the Samyama method, Samyama is this Sanskrit word, it's kind of like focusing on a painting and looking at the painting long enough, and you start to develop a storyline, a relationship almost with the painting. And this is kind of a Samyama practice. So I would show you some images of the muscle. I would show you ways to engage it, the ways to feel that particular muscle engage, just that muscle. And then we look to isolate it. We look to cut away everything that's not that muscle so that you can really feel and experience the isolation of that muscle. And this is, I don't pick just any random muscles, hundreds of muscles in the body. I pick, in a particular event, it might be like 5. In the full product, like for the Heart Seal product or the Sacred Psoas product, which are on ninthlimb.com, there's 10 muscles in each of those. So there's 20 total. And when you isolate a muscle, and you isolate another muscle, and you isolate another muscle, it becomes very accessible to co-activate or to engage more than one muscle at a time, which creates a very stable joint and can do a lot as far as efficiency of movement. For example, I can stand on my hands without recruiting a lot of accessory muscles. I only need the muscles that I need to do the motion. And so in this practice, I'll kind of end it here. There's a lot to be gained from the relaxation that's induced from pulsing a muscle that's clenching until it releases, from engaging a muscle which induces the relaxation of its opposite muscle, the antagonist as they call it. And a lot of your mind is being occupied because certain muscles in your body are clenching unconsciously. And it is not possible to separate mind from the muscle clenching unless we have some kind of external stimuli, like a cow prod or something, and even then your mind is engaged with that. So if the body is clenching, the mind is clenching. And the Samyama method that I teach, for example, this weekend, if you're in Dallas, I'm teaching a balancing energy on Friday and Saturday, which is March 9th and 10th, and I'm teaching the Samyama method. So when the muscles can let go, the mind will be ready to let go. And then what's important is to fill the void with something useful. Nature doesn't like the void, and when the mind relaxes and a big void is opened up in your mind, you're very, very suggestible in that moment. Which is why it's very important to, right after you do your yoga practice, to feed your mind something very empowering. Don't go right into like watching news or sports or commercials. I don't have a problem with you doing those things, it's not up to me anyway. But right then is a good moment to pray or meditate or read something empowering on a topic that you like, or be creative, or even engage with loved ones. But even that can be, because there's a lot of patterns of communication that what we're doing in the yoga practice is severing a lot of patterns so that we can come back to a place of like a clean slate almost, like a clean canvas, and be a little bit more choosy and conscious about what patterns we wish to hold on to. Obviously, I was just talking with my friend about the ultimate goal of yoga is no patterns, to remove all patterns, but that's not practical in the world. So you could detach from the world and go and break all patterns and achieve something, and probably dissolve into the ether and teleport everywhere, and that would be super cool. But if you're going to be in the world, then you're going to have some system of thinking. You're going to have some pattern of posture and some pattern of behavior. And so if you're going, like my teacher Arash says, if you're going to think like a god. And I would say if you're going to behave, if you're going to have a pattern, have a godlike pattern. And so this is what I do, this is what I teach, and this is the idea of esoteric physical therapy. Going deeper into the mind connection to the muscle, which is not talked about in physical therapy, and creating a level of efficiency of body movement that is beyond what you think might be possible. When you can balance on one hand by isolating just 2 muscles, not including the diaphragm, so 3 muscles, then you'll realize how much excessive energy you've been outputting in your yoga practice and in your movement and just in day-to-day living. When you reduce that energy output, more is available for your mind to pay attention to everything else that's happening. There's a lot of magic happening, and it's going by really fast. And so you better look at it while it's here. So I hope to see you at Balancing Energy this Friday or Saturday. If you're not in the Dallas area, which most of you aren't, then check out the playlist below and subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.